Welcome to Storytime. Here at Storytime, we read stories for parents and children. And at the end, we share valuable life lessons learned from the story. In today's story, we learn about two things: the dangers of greed and the importance of wisdom. Welcome back to Storytime with Miss Dymond. I am Miss Dymond, and I'm excited to bring you today's episode. In this episode, we are reading the classic and very popular fairy tale known as The Geese That Laid the Golden Eggs. This story teaches us two things: one, to steer clear of greed, and secondly, to apply wisdom when making our decisions. So before we get started, I'll ask you to, one, subscribe by hitting the red subscribe button, and two, click on the notification bell so that you will be informed whenever there is a new Storytime episode. Are you ready? Let's get started. Today's vocabulary word is precious. 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 When something is precious to you, it has great value. Something could be precious to someone else, but not precious to you. So precious is really a term that depends on who's calling it precious. But when something is precious, it has a great value to you. So let's read the story of the goose that laid the golden eggs. Once upon a time, a farmer and his wife purchased a goose from the market. At first, they raised the goose with love. But then one day, the goose seemed to lay an egg. The farmer and his wife were happy and collected their first egg. Was it just an ordinary egg? No, this egg was very shiny and it glittered under the rays of sunlight. It was a golden egg, and they were astonished. The farmer said to his wife, "We can sell this egg in the market. We will soon be rich. We'll come back tomorrow and see what happens. Now let us take this lucky egg and keep it safe at home." The second day, they returned to see if there was another golden egg. And yes, indeed, there was another one. They got really excited. The farmer and his wife wanted several golden eggs instead of just the one per day. They did not want to wait. They became greedy. So they both came up with a plan. They decided to cut open the goose, hoping to get all the eggs inside at once. But when they did this and cut open his tummy, there was nothing there. No golden eggs. And the farmer and his wife lost the goose because it died, which could have given them many golden eggs had they waited patiently. And they learned to never be greedy again. So let's review this story. There was a farmer and his wife who raised a goose with love. Well, I think that's the important thing here. They put a lot of love into this goose that they were raising. That means they were caring for it, they appreciated it, and they were giving their essence, their love, and their care. And often when you do this, you do something out of joy, out of service, out of love, it often produces something back to you. Love has that energy that when it goes out, it comes back. Very often that is the case. So this farmer and his wife did indeed get a return because this goose that they had raised with love gave them a golden egg. And the farmer said on the first day, "We will soon be rich." Notice the word soon. Soon does not mean immediate, but it means in due time they were going to be rich. That's what the farmer said, and it seemed based on this first egg. But the second day, they returned to see if there was another egg, and there was. So they looked for another egg the second day, and they found it. But something different happened. Rather than them being thankful for that egg and saying, "Let's keep this up because soon we will be rich," something happened. Between seeing that second egg and perhaps looking down the road at the potential, they became greedy and they decided they wanted their riches all at once. And the story says they became greedy at that point. So they come up with a plan to somehow go into that goose, go and get that seed that they planted, pull it out, expecting to get all of their outcome, all of their blessing at once. Well, we know that that did not work. And it's a great analogy for how we do things sometimes. We want to reap before harvest time. We want to reach in and grab what we think is ours, even before perhaps it has been produced. And when we do that, we can interrupt the natural cycles of things. Oftentimes when we are planting and we are making plans, things don't happen as quickly as we want them to. We may have to wait on some things. We may have to wait on the right timing. We may have to wait on other circumstances like the right people in our lives to show up or show out. We may have to wait on circumstances to be moved out or in. But if we are just consistent and continue doing what happened before, perhaps we can wait for that right divine timing when the harvest is then ready. But if we decide to step in and interfere with those plans that are in motion, we can oftentimes destroy it. So that's a lesson about greed. Now, in this story, The Goose That Laid the Golden Egg, you get a second lesson, a bonus. And this one talks about applying wisdom. So, in their desire to go to the market, redeem all these eggs, and become wealthy overnight, they didn't think things through. Now, of course, we know that you can't cut open a mammal and take out all the seeds. They need time to develop, or take out all of the eggs in this case. It needs time to develop. But let's think about our own lives. Let's think about, for example, a business that we are trying to grow and develop. It takes time. Sometimes you have to lay a foundation for years before you turn any profit. Let's say things aren't going well in your business because some virus hit that you weren't expecting, that no one was expecting, and now everything is turned upside down for you. You may decide some things rashly. You may say, well, I need to sell a different product. I need to extend my hours. I need to open a new store. I need to close a store. I need to add a product. All of these may be viable, but it is best to get wisdom. It is best to do your research. It is best to take some time and see what the right mix is for you. If the market has changed, how does that affect your business? Are people buying, selling differently? Find the knowledge and then apply the wisdom. The wisdom is the accumulation of that knowledge turned into action that benefits a particular person or situation. So figure out what that is for you so that you're not acting rashly or acting out of fear and trying to do something prematurely that may result in something that you did not want. So, I know that was a mouthful, boys and girls. The story of the goose that laid the golden egg gave us some real golden tips and tricks there for making the best out of our own situations. So from that story we learned not to be greedy and to allow things to develop in time and apply wisdom when making our decisions. So do you remember today's vocabulary word? It was precious. What was precious in this story? Exactly. The goose was precious. We would even go further and say the goose was a gift. Do you think the goose was treated like it was a precious gift? Initially, yes, but not after that greed set in. Then the goose was treated like a commodity, and not the goose that was raised with love. Well, that's it for today's episode of Storytime with Miss Dymond. I do hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned for the next episode and stick around so that you'll see some of the new episodes we're doing with parenting tips and tricks and a little bit about Miss Dymond's journey. Thanks so much for being here. A big virtual hug to everyone out there. Love you much. Take care. Bye-bye.